Hare Krishna. Namaste. Chapter 6, entitled as Dhyana Yoga. Sloka 7. Jitātmanaḥ praśāntasya paramātmā samāhitaḥ śītoṣṇa-sukha-duḥkheṣu tathā mānāpamānayoḥ. 3 slokas, 7, 8 and 9 shows the qualities, the symptoms of a person who's in yoga. In the 6th sloka, we saw that one was conquered his mind, the mind is his friend, and one who has not conquered his mind, the mind is his enemy. Therefore, one must win over the mind and take charge of it. Now, for those who has taken charge of the mind, what are the qualities? And that's been explained in these 3 sets of slokas. Let's see the word by word meaning. Shīta, in cold, uṣṇa, heat, sukha, happiness, duḥkheṣu, distress and in distress, tathā, likewise, māna, in honor, mānāpamānayoḥ, and dishonor, jitātmanaḥ, of one who has conquered his mind, praśāntasya, who has attained tranquillity by such control over the senses. There are other meanings too, whose external sense organs, indriyas, remain subdued, praśāntasya. One who is not concerned with objects in the immediate vicinity, praśāntasya. These are variation to this term praśāntasya. Atma, the soul, paramātmā, supremely, samāhitaḥ, approach completely. For the person who has conquered the mind in all conditions of heat and cold, happiness and distress, honor and dishonor, and is devoid of all attraction and repulsion, the self becomes situated in samadhi. This verse has its various flavors that's given by various acharyas. So we'll see those flavors and then we can get into the details of the sloka. Baladev Vidyabhushan and Ramanujacharya Vedanta Desika, they all say that the 3 verses, that 7, 8, 9, are favorable conditions for beginning the yoga practice, that is Aruroksha stage. Whereas Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Srila Prabhupada says that these are the qualities of a person who attained the steady meditation, Yoga Rudha stage. The second difference is, in this verse, for the first time, Krishna mentions paramātmā. So that is also interpreted differently by different acharyas. Baladev Vidyabhushan, Ramanujacharya, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, they interpretate paramātmā as self, whereas Madhvacharya and Srila Prabhupada interpretate it as the Supreme Lord. The reason is that ultimately whatever we practice has to be connected to paramātmā. If we start with karma yoga, one has to have self-realization, and the self-realization should lead one to bhakti. If one is practicing jnana yoga, that has to lead to self-realization, and then that has to connect to bhakti. One is performing bhakti yoga, obviously it's everything about paramātmā. Now getting back to the message of the sloka, here Krishna says that jitātmanaḥ, of one who has conquered his mind. Here, if we notice atma, the term atma has been used. Here atma refers to mind, which is what we have been seeing in past as well. Otherwise, this will be interpreted as conquering self, which is not a right meaning. One is trying to conquer his self. So here the Atma term is mind, which means of one who has conquered his mind. Why this person is referred here as jitātmanaḥ? Because he shows uniformity to the dualities of the world. That is, an Atma, that is living entity, considered to have conquered his Atma, which is mind, when he has tolerated the dualities of the world. Here the tolerance are of three levels that Krishna is explaining: śītoṣṇa-sukha-duḥkheṣu, mānāpamānā. śītoṣṇa, cold and heat, which is on the physical level. When it is cold, we look for heat, and when it is hot, we look for cold. Sukha-duḥkheṣu, happiness and distress on the mental level. Mānāpamānā, honor and dishonor. This is on the ego level. We see in general people's tolerance level is way low. We don't tolerate others' condition. These are then exhibited when we fail to tolerate, then these are exhibited in many ways. We react to the situation by we get frustrated, we get angry, we try to behave differently, or we try to quit what we are doing. It is all because of this intolerance. It is because of this intolerance that many relationships are broken. It is because of this intolerance that people can't work as a team. When we show off our intolerance in some means, the message that we are conveying is that I'm not interested in what I'm doing for the longer benefit. Conceived woman should tolerate to get a result of enjoyment with her child. A student should tolerate many sleepless nights, sickness, etc. to get his result of enjoyment with a good job. An employee should tolerate many situations within the team members, managers, etc. to get the result of enjoyment, which is his salary and other benefits. But interestingly, when it comes to any non-profit organization, it is quite obvious we see the tolerance level is low. That is because the understanding and expectation of those people who are functioning within the organization is also different. Understanding or the expectation. In the other places, the expectation is tangible. One can visualize, one can see it, it's coming. Whereas when it's a non-profit, there's nothing that one can see. The benefit that they are getting is not visible. Of course, I'm not talking about the prestige, name, positions, or titles of awards and things like that. There are genuine people who are not interested in any of these things. But unfortunately, even their tolerance level may be low. If they understand, this is my dharma, this is my duty, this is my service to the community, and this is my service to Krishna, then this person will continue doing what they are supposed to do for one reason, to please Krishna. When one engages like this, by tolerating the situation, then that person is considered to be practicing yoga, irrespective of what yoga is that. Either it's karma yoga, jnana yoga, bhakti yoga. These are the fundamental principles that one need to learn to tolerate. In most of the unfavorable situation, we conclude quickly, we make decisions quickly based on the immediate situation. But when one starts thinking the benefit that one person is going to get, thinking about the future, then whatever one goes through currently can be tolerated for the higher cause and higher benefit. Therefore, Krishna says here, when these dualities are controlled by the mind, then the senses come into control as well, because the mind is much stronger than the senses. We know very well that these dualities cannot be changed. Heat, cold, happiness, distress, so forth, because we don't have control over them. All we can do is to learn to tolerate the changes and be balanced in all time. Here, jitātmanaḥ, this is to indicate the internal sense, that is mind. Praśāntasya, this indicates the external senses. From this sequence, we can understand that when the mind is controlled, the senses will also come into control, because mind is much stronger than the external senses. It's like an example of Ravana has been given. A Ravana who has 10 heads. These 10 heads represents the 10 senses. And he has a main chief, that is mind. Therefore, when the mind is controlled, the senses will be under control. When we have a focused mind, we get good result, and the result will be quicker. When we don't have a focused mind, then our results are unexpected, may also get delayed. To conclude, whatever comes his way, heat or cold, pleasure or sorrow, honor or dishonor, has his mind subdued, and who has the external sense organs such as eyes, ears, etc. are controlled as well, such person is well established within. Jitātmanaḥ praśāntasya paramātmā samāhitaḥ śītoṣṇa-sukha-duḥkheṣu tathā mānāpamānayoḥ. Namaste. Hare Krishna.